What he's pissed off is because I'm pulling him up on this situation.
This is Jonathan Agger, 5th Pro Boxing Fans, here with Frank Warren in Poland for Usyk against Dubois on Saturday night. Frank, the prospect, how much does it excite you, the prospect that if Dubois wins this fight, Queensberry have complete control of the heavyweight division?
I'm really excited about this, John, and I believe he will come through, and if he does come through and he's got 3 belts, I expect to see some big unification fight early next year.
This fight is obviously on box office on TNT Sports. Yep. How many buys do you think it's going to do in the UK?
I think it's going to do well. I mean, I think it'll do extremely well. We'll find out on Monday.
Get a response to some comments Johnny Nelson made, I believe, last week, where he said you don't actually believe that Dubois is going to win. I'm sure you do, but what's your response to that?
I don't know why he says stupid things like that. What I do believe, I believe that Daniel is a much more exciting fighter than John was when I promoted him for 8 years.
Daniel is more confident than I've ever seen him before any fight in his whole career. What do you attribute that to?
Well, he does believe in himself, and he's got to maintain that focus and that state of mind until the first bell, and then carry it through from there. You know, we always see in big fights different. You know, you look at the guys, you're looking for what you feel might be a sign where someone's not so confident or they're slipping. Up to now, he's been brilliant. I know he's got the tools to do his job. He's got great footwork. He's got a fantastic jab. He punches hard with both hands. He's a good finisher. It's all going to be about his temperament. It's going to be about, as soon as that bell goes, him going out and controlling the fight behind the jab.
No press for time, so quickly run through for you. Obviously, you know what's coming. Eddie Hearn called you a small promoter the other day, and also questioned whether Beluta was tested in the weeks leading up to fight night. What do you want to say in response?
Well, if he was tested, he'd been tested by UCAD. Same as all fighters should be tested and are tested for fights. It was a title fight. And as regarding small hall, I mean, how many half curtained off Birmingham arenas with half the crowd in the section that's not curtained off could you drop into this stadium? Did he come to Wembley last year? The record for boxers. I remember his man did not do the business that Tyson Fury did there in a show we promoted when we beat him in a purse bid for the fight. We won the purse bid. He couldn't even win the purse bid for his man, and then we did the same at Spurs. So that's just last year. That's about all the other shows that we've done and all the fighters that we brought through. The fight up in Manchester with Joe Joyce and that. So, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about that. Your call has a place in boxing. For me, it has a special place. Nigel Benn, Hattons, all the guys over the years that I've promoted, all fought in venues like that, small halls and venues, because you bring them through, you blood them. What am I going to do? Announce Beluta against Dennis McCann, and put it on in a 5,000 or a 10,000 seat stadium? They're not ready for that. It's about building. But the place was sold out, and could have probably sold it out another 2 times over to the people outside. But at the end of the day, it gets to me what I'm doing with my fighters, which is blooding them and bringing them through. And I certainly don't need his endorsement as to what we're doing. What he's pissed off is because I'm pulling him up on this situation with drug-free sports are an organisation that do not have the same test criteria as VADA or UCAD. They don't test for EPOs, and they don't test for natural growth hormone. They don't test for it, okay? And when they are tested, the boxers, by the laboratory, they send a sample to the laboratory. That what should happen, it should go to the governing body, the Boxing Board of Control, yeah? That's where it should go to. But they don't do that. They decide whether they want to show it or not. He said on Simon Jordan's show that he hadn't used them for 3 to 6 months. Well, that is a lie in itself, because that test that the girl fouled on was taken shortly before the fight happened. And by the way, when the test was taken, that sat on a shelf for 9 days instead of being tested. What was all that about? That's wrong. And as for Frank, and this is is the crux of the matter. As for Frank Smith, the old T-boy, let me just put this really. Let me tell you why they should not be doing what they're doing. Why all these tests should be conducted by a bona fide drug testing organisation that complies with UKAD. Let me tell you why they should do that. Because when they're holding on to that information, we can get into a situation like happened with Conor Benn. When Conor Benn failed his first test and nobody found out until the week of the fight, having that he failed it quite a while before, yeah? They held on to that. And do you know who else didn't know about that failed test, the first one? Chris Eubanks Jr. And he lives with Chris Eubanks Jr.'s sister. And he didn't let anybody he didn't tell anybody about that. How can you go home at night and be in a position like that? What does that tell you about him? So would you want them conducting and arbitrating whether someone's fit to box or not? No way. It's not good for the sport, because we've been down that road when we saw that stuff last year or the year before with Conor Benn. It's a complete nonsense.
All right, Frank, we will leave it that there. Obviously, Saturday night is the. Well, I've been told that's it. So
one more?
I did have. Well, let's leave it there. Frank, appreciate it.